Okay, what's up everybody? This is Ryan here, just doing another short, quick live coding session. So, what's going on today? So, I just recently updated my Graph Sudoku application to the latest versions of Datastore, Compose, and then also the sort of constraint layout Compose interoperability, which I'm quite a fan of. So anyways, I'm going to keep this pretty short and sweet. So I just released a video, which was the first video in a series where I'll be building pretty much this entire application on camera. And that will be like a pre-recorded sort of series. And then eventually I'll just release it as one giant video because YouTube seems to like that. But what I'm doing today is before I start building the thing, I just want to bring the project to the point where it's working with the latest versions of the various libraries that I'm using. As you can see, I don't actually use too many Jetpack libraries. Obviously, there's like lots of integration with Compose, and I'm a big fan of Compose. And you'll see like Activity Compose, Constraint Layout Compose, and the typical material design. I could actually probably get rid of some of these, but I'm not going to fiddle around with that today. But yeah, two main libraries I do use are Compose and then also protocol buffers. So I thought what I would do is before I get to work just updating it from the older version. Obviously there's been some changes. I thought I'd just spend a moment explaining what protocol buffers are and how you can kind of use them. So in Jetpack Compose, there is of course proto Datastore and then also like preferences Datastore, I think. I haven't messed around with preferences Datastore, but I have set up proto Datastore. I'll actually have to look up the documentation to see what they've actually changed. But just to get a basic idea of how this thing works, let me find the proto package. So a protocol buffer is quite similar to JSON. It's pretty much the same idea. It's almost like a markup language, but with some extra features, I might say. And it's sort of like Google's, I might say, in-house response to JSON, or what they prefer. So as you can see, you can define class-like structures, and you can obviously add properties or members or whatever you want to call to them. And there's things like enums. So the way I'm using them in this particular project is basically to store simple data. So I store basically two things: game settings. So this is a Sudoku application. So I will be storing the current settings for the current game. And what will happen is when I want to create a new game, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull this record and check on it and do things accordingly from there, build the appropriate kind of game. And then there's also a user statistics protocol buffer thingy here, proto file, and this just represents the user, what is the shortest time they have completed various difficulties and sizes of Sudoku puzzles. Currently the app is configured to create size 4 and 9 Sudokus. The code is actually there for it to create size 16 by 16 or even 25 by 25 Sudoku puzzles. But the problem with that is that on a typical phone screen, you can't realistically draw a 16 by 16 Sudoku grid. I mean, you could, but I don't have huge fingers. I would say I have like medium fingers. But even for me, it's just too small and clicky to use it like that. But when I port this thing to tablets, then I probably will add an integration for 16 by 16 Sudokus. So anyways, that is what a protocol buffer is and the kind of thing that I think it's suitable to store. So I'm just really, it's almost like storing a single data model. And obviously you can give it defaults. I'm not going to give like a huge lesson here, but that's the basic idea with protocol buffers. So since updating to Alpha 8, it looks like the serializers, which will obviously map from like a plain old Java object, which if I recall correctly is actually generated from, yeah, you can see this is generated. I didn't actually write this class. So this will be something the compiler generates from the proto files. So obviously something has changed here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull up the documentation. So we'll go to Android protocol buffer. Let's see if I can find the Android developers thing here. Let's do proto Datastore. That might be a little clearer. Because clearly they've written, oh, I don't really want a code lab, although maybe that might work. And I really just want to see what they've changed. Okay, so I've got the schema, and this is what we're looking at now, what appears to be broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over to the other side of my screen, and we'll have a look at this. So what exactly is different? Let me zoom in a little bit. So what does the error tell me? Oh, interesting. So it's a coroutine. Okay. Oh, this might actually be a very easy change, and I really like this. Big fan of coroutines. So what's it saying about parse from? Is that going to be deprecated? Inappropriate blocking method call. Return getting game settings. So I'm not sure about this. Lint is giving me a warning here, but this is how it's implemented in the guide. So just curious, what would they... Yeah, I'm assuming it's just kind of a lint error, but I'm going to hope that I didn't miss anything and the creators of this library know what they're doing. And then let me just make sure I have this sort of factory delegate wired up properly. So what do we do here? By preferences data store. Okay, that's preferences data store. I don't want that. Here, I'll just pull this back over. What's up, Erdem and Jantu? Oh, Jantu, you're starting with Kotlin. Good luck, my friend. Just a little tip. I had written a bunch of Java. Oh, this is the thing I'm looking for. I'd written a bunch of Java, like I was quite good with Java before I started with Kotlin. And the way that I was able to basically be writing Kotlin fairly well in 3 weeks is I just built a very well-built calculator in Kotlin. And by the end of building that, and when I mean well-built, I mean like good architecture and stuff like that. And that was something that really helped me to sort of get over the hump. So as far as I can tell here, the only difference in the new proto data store is that the functions are now suspend functions. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, there's that coroutines integration. Let's see, is there anything else that's breaking? I think it was just that. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try and build again, and we'll see if there's any other errors. What's up, Francisco? Bom dia. My Portuguese is not great, but I try. All right, we are building, so expect some action-packed Gradle build time. I also ended up updating to... I jumped like 3 versions of Jetpack Compose because I just haven't been writing any Compose code because I've been writing compiler code. So I'm expecting Compose to break because of some kind of API changes, but we'll see. By the way, I was pretty irritated when they got rid of flow row from Compose. I really like that thing. Wow, this is taking a while. Isn't this exciting? Alright, well I think I can close that down. Здравствуй, Григорий. Как дела? Okay. Here we go. Всё хорошо. Alright, so Gradle is building, much to my surprise, so this might end up being a very short live stream, but we'll see here. I'm just going to open up some Compose files and we'll see if the error checking is just being lazy or something like that. Thanks for stopping by, Grigori. Let's see. Okay, that would be in UI. It's been like 2 weeks since I've written Compose code. I feel rusty already. I've been doing a lot of work in compilers and stuff like that. Oh, Bendo, if only you had come moments earlier in this live stream when I explained exactly what Datastore is, but since I don't appear to have any errors yet, I'll give you a brief explanation in a moment. Okay, so... Oh, is this no longer necessary? I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, so as far as I can tell here, okay, I'll probably deploy the application to an emulator just to test it, and that'll take a little while. So I already explained this, so I'll give this really, really short explanation here, but somebody asked, what is Datastore? And I might as well explain it. If you want a more in-depth explanation, watch this recording. The live recording will be available on my channel. So protocol buffer, as it's called, is sort of like, as far as I know, it's Google's in-house answer to JSON or XML, but it's closer to JSON. So it's like a markup language, and it's good for storing like simple data. So in this case, this is a Sudoku application. So what I'm doing here is I store the settings of the current game in a protocol buffer. And this is very similar to shared preferences kind of thing if you've used that before. Also, if you're from a Java background, you can like just serialize a plain old Java object to a file. It's similar to that in nature. So it's not something you'd want to use to store like a database of records. That would really not be an appropriate usage. But for just simple things like game settings or what are the user statistics? So if the user completes a size 4 easy Sudoku puzzle, it'll store the amount of time they have taken to solve that puzzle. So that's basically it. And then the way that you work with it is you define these data stores. So really it's just the typical boilerplate code that you can expect from most libraries. You'll set up for each proto file, which is one of these things, you'll set up a serializer, and then you'll set up basically like a hook, a way to get a hold of the data store. And then in your implementation class, like a local game repository here, excuse me, you can, actually I don't think that's where I store that. Let's go to local statistics. So here is where you can work with Datastore, and you can just read and write data, pretty straightforward. So that's basically what it is. Let me run the application on an emulator. Now, just probably the stream is going to lag. It's not going to be the internet connection. It's going to be my CPU, because I'm running OBS Studio, Google Chrome, Android Studio, and I'm about to launch an emulator. But let's give it a try. I probably won't be able to talk for a minute, but yeah, let's, as we say in Canada, give her. What's up, Piyush? Okay, here we go. Let me just make sure that I'm running the... Do I want Minify enabled? I'll try with Minify enabled. So the reason why I would want to use that is that it's closer to production. Sometimes, so this is code obfuscation and shrinking. And if you have that enabled, you definitely want to enable it before you publish an application to the Play Store. The problem with it is that when it's enabled, you can't debug your code easily. So I'm going to see if there's any bugs, and then if there are any bugs, I'll have to set that to false. But yeah, let's just give it a shot. I actually use both a physical device and an emulator, but it's just a little more convenient when I'm live streaming to use an emulator. Also, with the emulator, you can play around with different form factors and versions, and so when I'm doing like just quick iteration debugging and building, I'll definitely use my, I have a Pixel 3a, but towards the later stages, I like to use emulators to test various versions and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's loading or what. Expect lag. I'm gonna type some Russian stuff into the chat to practice my Russian while this loads. Okay, this thing doesn't seem to be working very well. Let me just finish my sentence here. There. Okay, so this is new. Let's try starting it from the AVD manager. Ah, you have been terminated. Okay, this is new. I'm not surprised. Okay. Alright, well, at least that emulator isn't working. Let me see if there's like an emulator process sitting around that is killing things here. QEMU ADB. Yep, I will try that. We might have to do this command line style if this keeps up. This is so fun. So Zohaib, or however it's pronounced, asks, can anyone suggest practical resources to learn flows, state flows, etc.? Zohaib, are you already familiar with the basics of coroutines? That would be my first question. Okay, so this thing is not working through Android Studio, so what I am going to do is, just give me a moment. Oh, that was a good voice crack. I'll see if I can fire it up through the command line. So I need to find my SDK. Oops, I'm still typing Russian. Cyrillic, I should say. Okay. Let's go Control C. I'll try and I haven't actually used the terminal here in Android Studio, but I'll try. Oh, it's already actually there. So stop typing in Cyrillic, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to use PowerShell. Never mind. Just give me a moment here. Oops. I apparently can't type. Okay, let's go to, what is it, emulator? CD emulator, and oh god, I have to remember how to start this thing. This is why I suck at command line, is I can't remember commands. What is it? Is it just emulator? Okay, so I have to do .emulator, but I need to, okay, ./avd, but I need to know the name of the emulator. Is it list devices? Nope. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm just not great at remembering, or maybe I had it in the, I might have it here. See, people always talk about how if you want to be a good programmer, you have to, okay, there we go. Опа! Всё хорошо. Okay, there we go. Anyways, just to finish that thought, people always talk about how if you want to be a good programmer, you have to use the command line. I am terrible at remembering commands. I literally forget them if I don't use them for a week. So, you know, command line is great if your brain thinks really well in command line. But other than that, I seriously don't think it's how you should judge a person, their abilities as a programmer. I'm wary. I guess I will try to use Android Studio here to deploy it. Instead of command line. Okay, a little laggy, but that's to be expected. It is Android after all. Oh, this doesn't look good. It shouldn't take that long to load. So why would it be doing that? Yep, an error has occurred. I gathered that much. Maybe I need to delete the old version. That might work. Hey, what's up, Pemba? How's it going, bro? Okay, let's try just installing it. So, it would make sense if I needed to reinstall it, because I did change the protocol buffer implementation. So we'll see. Oh yeah, that fixed it. Opa! Okay, so I'm just going to solve a very, very complicated medium level 4x4 Sudoku puzzle just to test the application, make sure it's working. Oh right, I have to hit the buttons. I can't just type on my keyboard here. Let's do 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. There we go. Okay, and it did right that time there. Let's just do a, I'm not going to do an easy 9x9. Maybe I'll do an easy 9x9. By the way, for everyone, there's a few people watching. I'm going to build this whole application, including the data structures and algorithms I use to generate the Sudoku puzzles here. All of these Sudoku puzzles are generated dynamically, and I can actually, if the screen was big enough, I could generate a 16 by 16 Sudoku, or possibly even 25 by 25. Okay, I'll solve one of these. By the way, you can get this application in the Play Store. It's called Graph Sudoku, and it would help me if you did do that. But I won't hold your feet to the flames there. Oh, by the way, oh, thank you. Nice to get compliments. Pemba asked, when did I make this? About 2 months ago. Let me show you a cool thing about Compose. So notice the color scheme here. I'm going to, if I can remember what to do, go to Settings. We'll go to Display. And then we'll turn off Dark Theme. I actually prefer Dark Theme, but just to show you what happens. Oh, this is always tricky with the mouse. There we go. Boom! Light and dark theme. Super easy to code. And I will show you how to do that in my big tutorial that's coming up. Anyways, I'm going to change it back to dark theme. Because I far prefer dark themes on like everything. Okay. So, let me just try and solve this quickly, which I'll probably fail at, but I'll do my best. Gentoo asks, which shell is best for SSH connection in Windows? I'm using CMD-ER right now. I couldn't really tell you. I use PowerShell on Windows, but I couldn't tell you it's the best. It's just the one I use. I wouldn't call myself a wizard with CLI and SSH. I know the basics of it, but most of the development I do is on a local machine. You know, I don't think I am going to try and solve this puzzle because that would be pretty boring for you guys to watch. And I can't actually talk and solve puzzles at the same time. Let's just do an easy 4x4, and I can show you... I'll just wrap this up by showing you how Proto Datastore works in action. So I have... Let me just do one final demo here, and then I'll probably shut the stream off. So I'm going to open up userstatistics.proto. This is a protocol buffer file. And if you're wondering about what Jetpack Datastore uses, Piyush says, wow, change the theme without activity restart, or did it and restored the state? It probably did redraw. It's probably a... We could test that. Hey, let's test that. That's a... Oh, shoot. Let's try and test that, because I'm actually curious now. So when I change the theme, do we get a different instance of the activity? I don't know off the top of my head, but because I am old school Android developer, I have special tactics for to figure out this answer to this question. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick a breakpoint in onCreate, wherever, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to restart the application with the debugger. Hopefully it won't crash. Oh, so the debugger doesn't work because it's on Minify enabled. Okay, I'll just have to do a Gradle sync. This will take a moment. But that's an interesting question. By the way, Piyush, I did actually create a tutorial on my channel explaining exactly how to set up the different themes. So do check out my channel. Lots of Compose tutorials to come. And I've got about 5 of them up. Okay, that didn't take very long at all. I guess because it just had to change that setting. Let's try debugging again. And it should pick up the breakpoint this time. Oh, it's lagging. Come on, baby. Oh, that's good coffee. While this Gradle build is running... Oh, never mind. Oh, wow. I think my computer's about to blow up. I think the emulator and everything is too much for it. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear me. Probably the stream is lagging, but it's actually my CPU that's lagging. Because I'm asking a lot from it. But, I forgot what story I was just about to tell. Oh, right. So currently I'm drinking coffee with unsweetened almond milk in it. Now, back when I was poor, I couldn't afford cream in my coffee. Like, I grew up drinking cream in my coffee, and then I couldn't afford it. So I started drinking coffee black, and then I got used to that. So now I can drink coffee black if I need to. But then when this year I started adding some unsweetened chocolate almond milk, and man, it is delicious. Okay, so the thing executed, but clearly we didn't have the debugger attached, or we did and it's just not working. So either way, that's kind of annoying. Just for a moment here. Is your name pronounced like how do you pronounce the J in Portuguese? I want to try and pronounce your name right. How, in your opinion, what part of the Android SDK framework is the hardest to learn for a beginner? I've been studying for a month and Recyclerviews in particular are really messing up with my brain. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Just really quickly, you should ask me that during my Q&A. I could give you a longer answer. The Recyclerview was very confusing for me. For those who don't know, the very first tutorial I ever did back in 2016 on YouTube was for the original Recyclerview. I think the most difficult part of the Recyclerview is you have to figure out how to actually structure everything around it. And they don't really go into that in some of the tutorials, but what I can share for you somewhere here. I'm not sure how to pronounce the Portuguese J. I know the R is pronounced like an H. Okay, let me... I'm not sure if you're into Kotlin, Francisco, but check out that repo. I just pasted it into the comments section. It might give you a good starting point, at least in Kotlin, for the Recyclerview. Anyways, I'm going to shut up and just deal with this for a second here. Okay, so I need to debug. Okay. Joam. Okay, I'll have to like get an enunciator to figure out how to pronounce that. Okay, so now am I launching to the production build? Like, why is the debugger not working still? Where is that thing? Build variants? It's been a while since I even had to mess with that. Okay, tools. Where's it? View, tool windows, build variants. Okay, it's building to debug. Debug is minify enabled. Okay, that's annoying. I wonder if it's failing to attach the debugger to the process or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time here. I don't know why the hell it's not working. Okay, it's working in onStart. Like I say, I don't know why it's suddenly not working in onCreate, but that is fine. We can finally answer the question. So what I wanted to do, folks, is someone, who was it? Piyush asked, did it restart the activity? Is it a new activity instance, or does it restart the activity with the same activity instance? So one of the ways we can figure that out is just note this number here, 10455. Please remember it, because I tend to forget detailed things like that instantly. So this is the current one. I'm going to hit play to resume execution. We'll let it finish its thing. 10455, was that it? Someone answer that in the comments, because I already forgot what it was. And this is why I suck at CLI. Hey, what's up, bro? No, I don't want to choose screen lock. Okay, we're going to go... Why is this thing as janky as F? Okay, just one single... Ah! This is terrible. Okay, there we go. Display. Thank you, Kwabena. Hey, what's up, Kwabena? Okay. Okay, we're going to change it to dark theme. Okay. And now, if this breakpoint triggers, assuming the debugger is still attached, then we will know if a new activity instance is there. And it, as we see here, it is a new activity instance. So when we switch the theme in Compose, it does actually create a new activity instance. So just an interesting little thing. That was a viewer question, and I just thought I would double check on that. And that appears to be the case. I'm going to change it back to dark theme, though, because I love that dark theme. There we go. Another new one. Okay, that's enough debugging. All right, so I guess I'll just recap the herpdederp. By the way, so just one final... I'm going to leave soon because I have to now write C++ compiler development, which I am not looking forward to, but sometimes a man must do what he must do instead of what he wants to do. So, anyways, one of the most important things, I want to, this isn't my Q&A or anything, but I want to leave a big tip here. This is a really important thing. Let's do Roboto. Let's domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Okay, so really important lesson. I wasn't planning to teach this, but y'all need to know this. I'm sure my senior devs know this. How do you understand how references and pointers and things... That's terrible English, sorry. I have to include the commas. For those writing proper English, don't be like references and pointers and this and this. You can do that, but it's kind of sloppy. And things like that. How do you understand what or how and things like that work? So you can read articles about all of these things. Oh crap. Chaitan's throwing the gauntlet down. How do you understand these things? Use... Why did it go to a small font there? Use the debugger /stepper to glimpse into the memory space of the application. This is how I learned how references and pointers and things like that, and I just used that technique to answer the question, does Compose, when we switch from dark to light theme, does that necessarily need to create a new activity instance? And I was able to do that by just setting up a breakpoint and looking at the virtual address, or virtual address of that particular activity instance, and then I was able to see, okay, it is a new instance. The debugger, I saw this guy on Twitter literally today crapping on the debugger, and the guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but already not a fan. The debugger really helps you to actually see how the memory space, now admittedly in this case JVM memory space, so it's virtualized, but it allows you to see how the memory space actually looks. And if you take any of my courses, I have several courses available on my channel through a subscription or on Skillshare. If you take my courses, I will teach you things like references in Java, for example, using the debugger, and it'll remove the confusion, because I could try and explain to you how references worked. It's a named address which points to a particular location in memory and that kind of thing. But to just show it to you and to play around with them in code with the debugger makes it so much clearer. Anyways, before I go, we got to talk about Chaitan doing his pull-ups. Okay, so Chaitan, you did you do 12 sets of 5 reps? Or was that, I'm assuming it's not 5 sets of 12 reps, because if it's 5 sets of 12 reps, I am screwed. So for those who don't know, Chaitan, my friend here, has, let me pull up the pop-out chat so everybody can see. He has challenged me to a pull-up contest, and I'll be honest, so I am all fast twitch muscle, so I am, oh geez, oh wow, holy crap. I gotta start practicing then. Wow, those are solid numbers. How much do you weigh, Chaitan? That's so at my best, I could do like 5 sets of, 10 sets of 5. That's impressive, man. I'm actually nervous now. It's a lot for me. I'm all fast twitch muscle, so I'm really good in short bursts. Like, I would be really good at wrestling. Oh, wow. Okay. Holy crap. Do you do, like, full extension? Like, you go all the way to the bottom and then, like, bar to chest? Pemba asks, if I get paid, I'm going to buy a course. Do you have courses on Udemy? I do have one course on Udemy, but the truth is that I hate Udemy. If you click the link below for Skillshare, if you're not already on Skillshare, you'll get a 2-month free subscription to any course on Skillshare, and I get $10 US out of that, free for you, money for me. Or you can do a my channel subscription for $2.99 a month. You can get access to like all of my courses, including the ones on Udemy, but I do have them on Udemy. I just personally hate Udemy because it kind of ruined courses. All right, I will expect to see that video, Chaitan, and I'm seriously nervous now because like I could not do 5 sets of 12 reps full extension, so I'm nervous. I'm gonna have to start doing pull-ups every day. Oh geez. All right, I think that's gonna be it for today. Thank you, my friends, for joining me. If you're just joining me like now, I just did a bunch of live coding and did a quick demo of the application. So the purpose of today's live stream was to give a quick demo of Proto Datastore and how I use it and how it works and what a protocol buffer is. If you want to learn what those things are, you need to go and watch the recorded version of this live stream, which will be available shortly after YouTube processes it. And I also wanted to just make sure that my compose code was still working, even though I've jumped from beta version 1 to beta version 4. But as my Russian friends say, всё хорошо, everything is well, so that is looking good. So I am going to go consider new pull-up workout. Thank you so much for joining me today. And до свидания, товарищи, друзья. I will see you all later. Peace out.